My name is Caryma Sa'd, and I am a lawyer and independent journalist. And for the past 3 years or so, I have been attending various types of protests and demonstrations and rallies to capture raw footage of what's happening on the ground.
What's your stand on Palestine?
We're here to document the underlying event.
What underlying event? You were in Toronto the other day. You keep documenting underlying events on Palestine.
Yeah, we document the Canadian reaction.
Do you support Free Palestine or not?
I support free expression. I support this rally.
Well, this is public space. You can support anything you want. But I've seen your Twitter accounts, and they seem to be racist.
What part is racist?
Anti-Palestinian.
What part do you think is anti-Palestinian?
Because you seem to highlight the few people who make comments that are not that support genocide, for Zionists.
I don't think that's a fair statement.
It is a fair statement. I've read your Twitter's account.
Well, you're not being specific though, so be specific.
Well, I have to go back and identify the specific
if you're going to
tweet,
come up to me and make those serious
But I keep seeing you around,
you
and you're video man here. Are you getting paid by somebody to take pictures of
No,
us?
I'm a freelance journalist. My footage goes to all sorts of national outlets, international outlets.
I haven't seen any of your reporting on national.
I'm interested in the intersection between civil liberties, including the right of political expression and peaceful assembly, and law enforcement, the way that they take steps or don't to maintain public order, and the interplay between that and our political systems. And I find that in covering protests across the province of Ontario, sort of on a micro level, I'm able to identify patterns that are relevant to what's happening at the macro level. And that this is important because what's happening in Canada isn't unique, but it is its own beast. And this is sort of a worldwide situation of civil disrest, and I think it's important to be able to capture what's happening. I didn't set out doing this as part of any kind of career plan. I sort of stumbled into it and kept going because I find it interesting. I'm a big professional wrestling fan, and on some level, what we are seeing here, the theater of demonstrations, it's a type of art form, I suppose, that is similar to professional wrestling. Parts of it that are real and parts of it that are inorganic and artificial. And figuring out the difference between the two, I think that that's a valuable endeavor. It's worth noting as well that in sort of the protest circuits as they exist, there are a lot of people who are well-intentioned, and there are also people who show up and have ulterior motives, whether that is personal fame and glory or simply to cause chaos. And that small subset tends to be the people who repeat across different protests and events. And I think that that's important for us to know and understand, especially when reporting on this phenomenon of people taking to the streets. There are times that being boots on the ground means being in dangerous situations, and I've encountered various types of aggression, ranging from pushing and shoving to the use of weapons, including electronic whistles, flagpoles, megaphones, meant to cause physical harm, and in the case of the sound devices, potentially long-term damage. I have been sequestered by flags and forcibly confined as a result, separated from my videographer, where it's concerning because we can't see each other, we don't know what's going to happen, and this happens across protest circuits. He's been physically assaulted with kicks to the groin, and occasionally being punched or having his phone grabbed, and it makes you wonder sort of what's the point of all of this. In a short-term sense, what I hope to do is provoke conversation and dialogue. I really focus on putting out raw footage with minimal commentary, occasionally my own remarks, but people will see different things in the same video and talk about it. And even though that discussion isn't always civil, I think it's worthwhile. I think it's important for people to break out of their own echo chambers, and the way that I present my material allows for that to happen. And in a more long-term sense, I hope that this is a useful historical record, because we live in very interesting times, and I think it's worth capturing.